Hello everyone and welcome back. In this video I'll show you how to make authentication in Next.js with NextAuth. This library NextAuth, but the catch here will be we will authenticate it with MySQL. So without any adapter that appear here manually. So it's a little bit different. I preferred make authentication without the adapter because I want to write in pure SQL. So to write pure SQL I need to make authentication and use another kind of provider. It's a provider that's NPM package manager offers. Now when we write with Node.js, we basically what we do, we import the MySQL library and interact with the MySQL object. So that's basically what we're gonna to do here in this video. So let's start. We finish here where we complete this page, build this page from the design perspective. Now I prepare before I start the video, two pages. One it's the login, one is the register page. Here's the login, and if we go to register, this is the register. Also we can go from here. So it's the register page. After we will finish the authentication part, I can show you how I design this thing, and I build it on the Next.js if you want. So let's start with the authentication. So basically what we need to do, we go to our project. So we need to install few things. So we need to install NextAuth. So now I need to open another terminal here. So let's check in the documentation what they want that we install. So we need to, I use npm for this process. So I use npm. Basically it's not important, it's work the same for all the package managers. So we need to install in this package. Also we need to install in MySQL. Don't want to go to documentation, but I think I write it correctly. 1 second and check it for be sure. We use the regular MySQL. You have an option use to MySQL too. I don't know exactly what the difference between them, but I use this package, alright? So we install it correctly. So what more, we need to install util package, npm util. And also we need, if you when we do we need to install another library. The name of the library is bcrypt, like this. So npm I think is bcrypt, but 1 second, check, we will check it. So for installation this thing will work for us properly, I believe. Let's delete what we wrote here. Yes, it's installed. So now we're back to the project. We can open I opened the register component. Basically how I build it, I build the register page. Inside the register page I include the register form, right? So we need to interact with this thing. Here I prepare the function handle submit. If you go to the form, we can see the on submit. Here is handle submit. So I added this thing to the functions. Prevent default. It's prevent from the form every time refresh if we don't need it. So let's start. So what we need to do here? One second. So to start this, we need to create an API folder initially here. Sorry, it's not a folder, it's a file. We need a folder. Let's close this. So inside the API we need an create auth folder. Inside here on the API I will create auth.js. What pulled in this video that we do all in JS, not in TypeScript. So you will see how we do it in JS. And here we can leave it for now. In the auth folder, I want to create two folders. One folder I want to copy it because it's a little bit confusing, this thing. So we need to create a folder with one folder this and one folder for register. Alright, in each folder we need to create a file. auth.js. auth.js. So I want to start to import things in auth.js. So basically it's our starting point. So you know what, let's start with the register because we need firstly create an user. So I want to show you how it works. So now we basically create a NextAuth and register folder, and in each folder include raw.js file. This raw.js is associated with auth, but I need it will be associated with API, so I delete it. Now I want here raw.js. Alright. So also we need to create another things. The database. So I create here folder with name it util, and the util I create db.js. So so we need to import the MySQL. I imported in the old way, so it's not important. You can import it in the new way. I imported its old way. It's not important. Sorry. So I basically prepare for myself the code, and it's usually like we use it in and I export the default the pool. All right, that's it. For now, why? So now we will go to the register page, raw.js. So let's start import. Next, we need next response. We need also import util from util, and we need to import a database. Now it will be post method, so we need to write here post. It will be async function. Export it. So here we create query, and we will combine all the database and util together. So it will be util.promisefy inside db.query, db.query bind db. That's it. Here user await dot JSON. Alright, so before we try to build our let's finish with the, and after we will create a table inside the database. I prepared for myself the whole code to write an SQL, so you can watch on this. It's basically insert inside the users. That's how our table will be named after we will create it. And this all parts coming from this user that we get from our frontend solely. And this, if all good, it's return and next response with user and status of and 201. And here we of course want to return to error and status for 1. If I remember, it's not important now, just it's not good status code. It's not like we have an error from some reason. So and here I print the error, so we can we'll figure out if we will get this error on our code. So let's continue. So now I create the API endpoint. So to here we can send the information things and it will handle it. So for now, just we need to create a table. This is database that we're gonna to use. This other kind of database, that is a next trading platform. Here we don't have a database. I prepare the code here, so I will execute it. I create a table, users and all unique ID, coin index, first name, last name, email, username, this country residency, country living, password, phone, alias, type account, status account, timestamp, primary key. If you know SQL, you should know what I'm doing here. So I execute it. So it's basically created. I refresh it. We can see here a new table. It's an empty table. You can see now we don't have any records inside the table. So now we have an raw.js endpoint. We need to go to the from the form and create some kind of sending information to endpoint. So to go to the components to register form to the JSX. Here our handle after handle submit, after we finish, after we fill all the necessary information. If we have all to register and if we fill all the information, for example strudel@gmail.com. Let's name it for test. Password will be 111 4 times 1. Phone number, it will be just. Let's open the inspect dev tool, go to the console. Here some it's some error from the DOM element. After we finish, it's not important now. If I go and I press now, I don't see nothing. So if I go here back to my code, and for example with console.log, this form works if you update some field. It's automatically update on the user state props. You must know, if you know React, use state. I update the use state, and I have all the email, last name, and all the things. So we console log the user. Before, I want to show you that if we now go and we click submit, here appear our object, is all information that's includes here. So it's basically the same, except the country living and residency. And it's not important because I put it in default. So for just now, we'll just ignore it. So it's not important because we have in the United States. It's not. Just want to show you how it's works. It's not important the details. So what we need to do, if we have the user, for now I just want to show you the fetching. After it will validate if this all data we want, if not all the data that we want. So for just now we'll just so we need to fetch, use fetch. Const response. Forget how I name it, how I write it. So like this, fetch. We need to await it because it promise. Here we're going to send to our endpoint this API out register. And here we need to method, it will be post. JSON.string file, and we send the user to our, and we return it if all good. Return response. All right. Otherwise, return no. So basically now we will send to our endpoint, and most important thing that our endpoint is sorry, it's the register page. Our endpoint. Let's test it out. So we need to be able to create a user now. If I not change nothing and we go to our table again, and we don't see nothing here on the table, and if we try to send it, something is happening. I don't see. 1 second, let's check. Yep. And because we don't have any condition if the fetching is happening, so we don't see nothing, and because we don't console log it, but we can use with router to route it to homepage, for example, to another page. But we can see inside the database, we can see the record is existing. So exactly with the information that we want. So I show you about the password, but it's not correct to send the password like that, I just show it for the example, but we need to encrypt it because that I install a bigger library. But I think I know now to mess it with it now, so I just leave the password like that. But you should know how to hash your password and send it to the database. So now, after we have a user inside our database, we need to be able to go to login and to log in. If we now go to the login and we try to, for example, what the email was used, so it's E. That's E and 111 4 times, but nothing is happening, right? So we need to go to our login page. We finish with the register, open the login. Here the same thing. We have an object and we have a prepared function that I write before, and here we need to import another thing. This thing is come from NextAuth React. So import sign in. Let's check if it will understand us. No. I hope I write it correctly. Auth React. And it's calculating this. Yep, it's fine. It's fine. So now we need to use this hook function and to send our login details to the next out endpoint. So how we do it? Like that. Sign in. Credentials. You have an option to choose from here. An open object, email, our email. This will be user.email, and our password will be user.password, and that's it. Now we need to go to AUTH and write logic. So now is the coming is so inside the AUTH I import the same thing like before, next response, and I copy from the I want to go to the register because I want to copy all the things here because it will be the same, by the way. Post async. You can also name it a request, and many people will name it a request, it's not important. But sorry, here it's not gonna be the post, my mistake. We do it in another way. It will be from the out options from the documentation. So we need to set here start with the session. Session will be an object. Strategy, I must name it correctly. So I copy it from the other place I have. JWT token. This kind of authentication we will do. And now we need to providers. Providers. Basically, you can copy it from the. If you don't want to write it, you can copy it from the documentation. Here you have it. See? So provider we will going to use, it will be a credential provider. Credential provider. So basically I can show you something else, but I'll leave it for another video. Let's do exactly the function we need. Authorize. So basically, when we send here to credentials, it's appear here, and this is a server component. So if you want, we can let's console log it. As you can see the credentials. So now go to our here, and we click this mistake, but I want to show you something else. If you watch now on the server, you can see alright, so we have it, and okay, let's we need to export it. Just do what I do. Also, NextAuth we need to import here. Forget to import it. Let's copy it. Also, we need to export post. Now if we'll try to go back, click on the send button. So I forgot import the credentials itself, these things. So it must be imported. So it's credential and I think it will be imported by itself, but no. And we need to edit here a secret key. So I now write it like a string, but you need to enter it inside the env file to hide it from other users. So now let's try to log in again. And send us to our login page. It's console log. You can see the object we are sent. So the email and the password. So it's coming from to the credentials. So now we need write logic. I can tell you this part is work if it's this function. If it's return a null, you get refused for authentication. If it's return the user, so we authenticate it. So we must write the logic to return a user to be able. So for now, we will check if we have credential.email, if we will get it. If we don't have email, or you want to write password, oh, we don't have a password, so we need to return no. Now the part of the SQL is coming. So let's write it. Let user equal await query. This query comes from this query. Here we can write our SQL. So I will select all from users where email equal distinct credentials dot email. User equal user, and this thing I will do because if you print it, you will see I need to do it like this because it's showing an array. So after it's check if inside the database and the answer is coming, we need to check if we have an user. If we don't have a user, we return null. If we have a user, so we need to check if we have a password. If we have a password, we must return. No, we need to check the user password equals credential password. If it's true, we need to return a user and we authenticated. If no, we need to return null and we not authenticated. That's it. Let's try to log in now. So I now close all to clean our screen. So let's go. It's this page. It's another page that Next.js offer you to write to authenticated. I won't show you before, but it will take us another time, so more time. So I just keep it. So just let's try firstly with. So how we know if we log in or not? It's coming with this. I will write another code to know if we log in or not. I'm not gonna to explain to you because I use you can just copy it. I use get server session. It's on the documentation. It's how we can access to session. We know if we are inside, if we are authenticated or don't authenticated on the server component. So I just make it fast to save a time. So I just copy here. I prefer it before. So basically what this code is does, it's take a server and this thing is basically tell you if you authenticate or not. If you authenticate, so and you can go now, because we create now in this endpoint, we can go to API and we see authenticated, it's false. It's because we don't authenticate it. So if we try to authenticate with our email, some let's type a wrong code 555 for example and click login. So it sends us to this page. Probably we failed, but let's check on the API if we authenticated. False. But if we will go now with our current email that correct and the password is 111 4 times 1 1 1 1 1. We go to login and now you see the difference. It's not send us to any place. We go to API. I have a bug. I just change this name to option instead of options. It's not important if you write them options. So you need to in any other place write options. If you want to write option, you can option. You can use inside any place option. So I just go and change it here. So for now we have false. If we're gonna to our EEE and we type 4 times 4, like the password is correct, and we click login, so it basically do not direct us to any place. So we go to the API and you see we have a true here. So we authenticated. So if you go to application, you can see here the cookies is set up to the memory of the browser, and that's it. So how I'm not gonna to explain how you use this into another video, how to use session information inside a server side and how to use it inside a client side to protect your pages. It will be in another video. This video will finish. This video how to integrate MySQL and Next.js 13 together without any provider, with of course with the credential provider, but without any adapter. I mean, like Prisma or any ORM, it's manually. So that's it. Thank you for watching.